It's been a month since Vijay took oath as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. And since then, one question has been coming up again and again. What has the TVK government actually done in its first month? After all, TVK came to power promising a different style of politics, a fresh approach to governments, and a new direction for Tamil Nadu. So today, let's take a simple factual look at the first month of the Vijay government. Not as supporters, not as critics, just as people trying to understand what has happened so far. Let's get into it. When Vijay became Chief Minister on May 10, many people expected the new government to act quickly. And to be fair, it did. One of the first major announcements was a 200 units free electricity scheme. Under the previous system, domestic consumers received the first 100 units free along with subsidies through different tariff slabs. The TVK government expanded that benefit by increasing the free quota to 200 units for eligible households consuming up to 500 units in a 2-month billing cycle. For many middle class and lower middle class families, that could mean lower electricity bills and some extra savings every month. And since this was one of TVK's key election promises, it was seen as an important first step by the new administration. But electricity wasn't the only area the government focused on. Another major initiative was the launch of Singapore Special Force. Women's safety is not a new issue in Tamil Nadu. In fact, previous governments also introduced initiatives such as the Amma Patrol under the AIADMK and the Pink Patrol under the DMK government to improve safety for women and children in public spaces. But despite those efforts, concerns about women's safety continue to exist. Incidents affecting women are still reported and many people feel something more effective needs to be done. Perhaps with that in mind, the TVK government has now launched the Singapore Special Force as one of its flagship initiatives. According to the government, the force will focus on women's safety, faster response mechanisms, increased security in public places, and prevention of crimes against women and children. The initiative has attracted a lot of attention because the name Singapore is closely associated with Vijay's public image and his message of women's empowerment. But the real question is whether it can make a difference on the ground. And that is something only time will have to tell us. But that's not all. Another major decision taken by the government was the creation of a dedicated anti-narcotic task force. Drug abuse and narcotics trafficking have become growing concerns in several parts of Tamil Nadu. To tackle this issue, the government has created specialized anti-drug units across the state. The objective is straightforward: identify drug networks, stop trafficking, and reduce the availability of drugs, especially among young people. The framework is now in place, the teams have been deployed, but since the initiative is only a few weeks old, it's still too early to measure its impact. Now here's something that didn't get as many headlines but could be extremely important in the long run. At its first cabinet meeting, the government reviewed 436 ongoing projects and schemes. At first, that might not sound like a major achievement, but think about it. Every new government inherits hundreds of projects from previous administrations. Some are progressing smoothly, some are delayed, and some need immediate attention. So this review was essentially about finding out what is working, what is stuck, and what needs to move faster. A few important priorities emerged from the exercise. One of them is improving urban water supply. The government has spoken about a long-term vision of providing more reliable and continuous water supply across major cities. Projects related to the restoration of Cooam River and the Buckingham Canal have also been given priority. And these projects are about more than just the environment. They're also linked to flood prevention, urban development, and public health. The government has also indicated that it wants to improve electricity reliability and strengthen public infrastructure across the state. Now, beyond these individual initiatives, there is a bigger story here, and that is the rise of TVK itself. For decades, Tamil Nadu politics was largely dominated by the DMK and the AIADMK. But the 2026 election changed that landscape. TVK's rise to power represents one of the biggest political shifts the state has seen in years. So, naturally, expectations are high. Public expect better governance, better public services, and visible improvements in their day-to-day lives. And that's where the real challenge begins. Because announcing schemes is one thing, making them successful is another. The free electricity scheme has to deliver benefits to consumers. The Singapore Special Force has to improve safety on the ground. The Anti-Narcotic Task Force has to show results in the fight against drugs. And the hundreds of projects under review have to move from plans and files to actual outcomes. At the end of the day, governments are not remembered for announcements, they are remembered for results. So 1 month into office, what can we say? The government has moved quickly, it has identified its priorities, it has launched several major initiatives. At the same time, most of these efforts are still in the early stages. The coming months will be far more important because that's when people will start judging not the promises but the results. So now it is fair to say that the TVK government has had an active first month. The bigger question is what happens next? Can these initiatives deliver meaningful change? Can the government meet the expectations that helped bring it to power? Those are the questions that Tamil Nadu will be watching very closely in the months ahead. So what do you think? Has the TVK government made a promising start or is it too early to judge? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. For more interesting political analysis, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Filing Media.